you can get hold of me is you will notice beside your name that there is the opportunity to raise your hand. So please don't hesitate to raise your hand if you want to say something or you want to say hi or any of those kinds of things, and we will make sure that you have the ability to speak to everybody. And as mentioned, my apologies that you all have to be muted. The ideal situation would be to have all of the mics open and we could just have conversations as a big group. However, we've learned through experience that as soon as we open up mics, we start to get static. So if we do it one at a time, then hear everybody. I would make one recommendation at the moment. If you've got a headphone, please put it on. It's by far the easiest way both to talk with people and also to hear people. So if you have a headphone, that would be a great way to do today's webinar. But without, I think all of the housekeeping items that I needed to talk through, I perhaps should introduce myself. My name is Amelia Shaw, and I help manage the IAP2 Canada Mentorship Program. And I will be walking you through today's presentation, although a big part of today is going to be hearing from you, what you want, your hopes, your aspirations, potentially your expectations, any of your challenges that you're already seeing, but also an opportunity to really talk about why do I want to be involved in this and what do I want to get out. So I'm hoping that we'll all feel quite comfortable in contributing to the process. So I to now kickstart this, and we're going to move on with today's presentation. So the first part of the presentation will be welcome and introductions. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of an overview of what the mentorship program is all about, what the various roles and expectations are, both for the mentor and then we're going to finish up with talking about the pairing process and a little bit more of a meet and greet. So, and certainly we've done this a couple of times now. We're always really fascinated at the meet and greet. This is your opportunity to talk to somebody or ask them questions or learn a little bit more about them. So I'm interested to see where we get to as we continue with this process. So following up is the introductions, and hopefully everybody can see the PowerPoint presentation, but just in case you can't, the questions that I'm going to ask you are: what's your name? Where do you live? What's your job and how does it relate to the field of public participation? And where is the last went on that I'm going to, you can certainly say something else or add to it, but at least that will get all of us started. So I am going to start off with asking Sherry, and Sherry is one of our mentors. So Sherry, I have just taken you off mute, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Sherry Campbell. I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. My job is Director of Management Consulting at Sierra Systems, and the work that I lead and the projects that I lead tend to involve large-scale stakeholder engagement in the government and public sector fields in Western Canada, and some national work as well. And I have, when I say large-scale stakeholder engagements, quite often this involves either a number of key stakeholders across regions and across provinces, and or public engagement itself. Where's the last place you went on vacation? Let me think now. That was a river cruise in Europe that was from Amsterdam went from Amsterdam to Budapest. It was my first cruise, and it was a river cruise, and it was great.
Absolutely lovely. I have to admit, I've been on a river cruise and it was fabulous.
It was great. Uniworld, by the way, which is supposed to be great. Thank you.
Oh, and I did Viking, so there you go. So if you're interested in riverboat cruises, you've got two different people here.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a couple of weeks. Yep.
Excellent, brilliant. Thank you so much. So next, Sarah. bit more her, and Sarah is one of our proteges. Sarah.
Sarah.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
I live in Sherwood Park, which is just outside of Edmonton. My job is strategic plan for recreation in general, so recreation facilities, recreation programming, and I found myself doing a lot of public engagement in line with that. That's kind of how I got into the field. The last place I went on vacation was Palm Springs. Actually, it was a very low-key vacation, and I don't think we really hardly left the house. We just kind of lazed around the pool. So.
That sounds terrific, Sarah. Thank you so much. Welcome to the program. So next on my list is Mike Sullivan. Mike is also one of our proteges. And Mike, I think you're going to have to enter your PIN number. So maybe we'll come back to Mike while he enters his PIN number and we can carry on. So moving forward, Kelsey. You can tell us a little bit about who you are and where you live and all of those kinds of good things. Kelsey. Kelsey, are you there? Kelsey? Alrighty. So I can see it online, but I can't get her. Kelsey, can you hear me? All right, so I'm gonna mute Kelsey again. Kelsey, if you're online, if you could please send a question, and I'll see what I can do to come back to you. So thanks so much, Kelsey, and we're going to Carla. Carla.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, great. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, and I'm not sure if it's my headphones or what it is, but you're cutting in and out a little bit. So if I cut in and out a little bit, then tell me. Carla Reeser, I live in Calgary, and my job is as a partner with a company called Moving Forward. We do stakeholder engagement work mostly in Alberta, but from north to south, top to bottom, east to west. And it's a variety of work. Sometimes it's for companies, helping them to engage their stakeholders and communities. Sometimes it's within companies, working with groups of employees. Sometimes it is for Aboriginal groups, helping them in turn engage with their industry stakeholders, some for government, some for regulatory. So our clients range broadly, and the types of work range from oil and gas operations to strategic planning. And in fact, I'm going to be in Sherwood Park tomorrow, working with the group there, doing some planning with them. So that's the connection to. It was Sarah that just spoke, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and my last vacation was to Belize in January, which was lovely. Highly recommended as a top world-class snorkeling destination. And of course, if you're a diver, then it's fantastic as well.
Thank you so much, Carla, and welcome. So I am to go back and check and see whether or not we've managed to get Mike back online yet. So Mike, coming up. It looks as though we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Excellent. Mike, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about your name, where you live, and
sure. Thanks, Amelia. Yeah, hi. My name is Mike Sullivan. I live in the St. Catharines area of Ontario right now, and my job is the manager of land use planning for a small township in the Niagara region. My job relates to public participation in that we have statutory requirements or legal requirements to, when there's development that comes through, I've got to engage the public in discussions on those developments to make sure that they have a say and that they understand how the impacts, and we understand how a project may impact them. Where is the last place you went on vacation? That would be the East Coast, Boston down to Washington, D.C. Had a fabulous time, just included 4 days in Cape Cod, which was absolutely marvelous. So, thanks, Amelia.
Thanks, Mike. It's a real pleasure to have you on board. So I am going to mute Mike, but Kelsey has her hand up. Kelsey and learn a little bit more about Kelsey. Kelsey, can you hear and speak to us now?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can. Excellent. Welcome, Kelsey.
Okay, great.
I can. Thank you very much.
So my name's Kelsey Singdale, and I live in Victoria, BC. I work with Acumen Communications, which is a strategic communications consulting firm here in Victoria. Our work, we do quite a bit of work with regional and municipal governments, so we are often brought in to help lead public consultation processes. We're currently working on the wastewater treatment program in Victoria at the moment. So we come in as outside consultants whenever we're needed, so from nonprofits to government. And the last place that I went on vacation was San Diego and LA just at the beginning of February.
Excellent. Well, thank you and welcome to the program, Kelsey.
Thanks.
I'm going to go back to Michelle. And Michelle, I know you just joined us, so I'm trying not to put you on the spot, but this is really just introductions. So what's your name, where do you live, all that kind of good stuff.
Hi, it's Michelle. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Perfect. My name is Michelle Wagner, and I currently live in Airdrie, Alberta, which is just outside of Calgary. I've lived in the area for about 14 years now, and I currently work for TransCanada in a community relations role. And what our role is, I work in relation to the capital projects that TransCanada currently has. And we do, or my role specifically, relates to doing council presentations, open houses, and engaging with the various different communities where we actually have projects. The last place I went on vacation was Palm Springs, actually, for a golfing trip with my husband.
Aha. A lot of people heading down south to Palm Springs. So thank you very much, Michelle, and welcome. The next person that I'd like to go to is Joel Westland. So actually, Joel, I'm not sure if you have got a mic because I can't see anything to open. So we're going to hold off on Joel for just a minute, and we're going to go to Jan Bloomfield. And Joel, if you could let me know either through your question that you're now online. But we'll go to Jan at the moment and introduce Jan.
Hi there, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good, great. Hi, everybody.
Yes, we can.
I'm Jan Bloomfield. I live in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm a consultant. I have my own company, Strategy Plus, which allows me to do a range of consulting types of things, including strategic planning, business planning, but an awful lot of public participation planning. And I'm also one of the licensed trainers for the IAP2 certificate program, which is fabulous. It's a great way to find out what's going on across the country and to meet lots of wonderful people who are involved in public participation, either beginning or some with a great amount of experience. In terms of the last place I went on vacation, I've been on a lot of sort of short getaways, but the last real vacation was last April when I went with a group of friends to the Galapagos for a week, cruising in the Galapagos on a small yacht, and then 3 weeks in Peru. So it was absolutely fabulous. Highly recommend it for anyone.
Thanks so much, Jan. It truly does sound fabulous. So I think as I'm listening to all of these vacations, it's definitely time for a vacation.
Totally agree.
So, thank you very much, Jan. We are still trying to work at getting Joel on board. Joel is certainly listening, so we will continue to see whether or not we can get the microphone. But while we're working on Joel, we're going to let Jessica. So Jessica.
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So my name is Jessica Dick, and I live in Southern Ontario in a very small community called Milverton, about 1,500 people. I do not have a job. Well, I'm a research assistant, but I'm a master's candidate for a Master's of Peace and Conflict Studies at the University of Waterloo. and I came into the program with an interest in relating peace and conflict studies to public participation. My limited professional background is working for Dillon Consulting, which is where I first heard about P2 and kind of got interested in this world. So very new to things and kind of looking forward to learning more from all of the people around this table, metaphorically. My last vacation was last May, a whirlwind month of traveling around Europe, and it was great.
Thanks so very much. And welcome. So the next that I'm going to ask speak is Ann Harding. So Ann, are you good to speak now? Is Bobby down?
Sure, down enough. So this is Ann Harding. I live in Calgary, and Amelia is referring to Bobby, my 6-month-old son, who may squawk in the background, so sorry about that. If he does, I am currently on maternity leave, but when I'm not doing that, I am a senior advisor in stakeholder and Aboriginal relations at Suncor Energy here in Calgary. And so most of my work involves consulting, well, it has involved consulting with stakeholders affected by Suncor's operations, which includes everything from refineries to wind power, pipelines, oil sands development, and conventional gas, so very resource sector, obviously. And also in developing frameworks for how our company overall consults and how it feels the same when somebody is talking to Suncor in the Northwest Territories as they are in Fort McMurray and Southern Ontario and the like. I'm thinking about, I also, I guess I should say, dabble in consulting. I've had a done some consulting practice work for the last 5 years on a few different projects, energy efficiency, policy, school closures, and sort of just to broaden my scope a little bit as well. The last place I went on vacation, I'm trying to think, all of my travel recently has actually been related to IAP2. I guess I should also say I'm the president of IAP2 Canada. So the last place I traveled was to Fort St. John, Northeast British Columbia last week to speak on a panel for liquefied natural gas development and First Nations engagement. And prior to that, I guess the place I'd say I went on vacation was to Bali as one of Canada's representatives on the international board of IAP2. So we had our board meeting in Bali, and I met up with a girlfriend from Australia, and we traveled around for 10 days after that. So that was lovely.
Thanks very much. Gratefully appreciated. So I just wanted to let you know some of the people that unfortunately were unable to join us today, and some of the people that might be joining us a bit later. We did hear from Kate Moore and Tracy McCabe, and they send their apologies, but they're really looking forward to being mentors. And Laura Tierney should be joining us a little bit later. Michelle Holland will join us a little bit later, so if we can come back to both Laura and Michelle, we will do that. From the Prodigy perspective, we are still hoping to be joined by Karen and Karin. We have a K-A-R-E-N and a K-A-R-I-N. Unfortunately, Willowbrook will be unable to join us, and we're still being Katie. So as you probably already now know, we have 18 people that are going to be involved in the mentorship program. We are taping today's webinar, so people that are unable to join us, they will still have the opportunity to get to meet you and also have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the program as we move forward. Joel, we are still having issues. And my apologies. We have no microphone, so this is why we're unable to open up your mic. I don't know if you want to sign out and sign back in again, and maybe that will fix that problem, but I did want to apologize to you because we've tried everything at our but haven't been able to pull up a mic for you. So my apologies for that. But I would like to continue going with today's PowerPoint presentation, so I will get going with the rest of it. So why the mentorship program? All of IAP2 Canada, the city and improve the practice of public participation in Canada and around the world. The reason for the mentorship program was this was a great opportunity for IAP2 Canada to help with professional development. In pretty much all of the surveys that IAP Canada does, professional development comes up as #1, pretty much #1 along with advancing the practice every time. So this is a great opportunity for that kind of development. And as well, it really gives IAP2 Canada the opportunity to, the members, find out what you want, where do you want to go, and these kinds of conversations will probably happen within your mentorship program, within your mentorship process. And of course, the biggest one is within the core values, and that's really living the core values. And the part of that is the support of the practice. We will mentor new practitioners, educate decision makers about the value and use of public participation. This is an extremely important initiative to all of us. So, and as you start talking to your mentors, in many cases, this is why they have joined, in order to give back. So now just a little overview of the program itself. This is a 9-month commitment, just in case you were wondering what you were signing up for. It's begun in February, and we've now kick-started it, both with you sending me your information and your bios, along with why do you want to be a mentor and what should your mentor have, or why do you want to be a protege and what should they have. And it goes through until October 2014. You will have an opportunity to meet at least one new person, and through the calls that we'll be having, you'll have an opportunity to hear how people are doing. We sincerely hope that you will learn from each other. After today's process, I will be pairing you, and we will be sending you a terms of reference. You will be expected to complete the reference, and that really creates the opportunity for how the two of you are going to learn together. And a lot of people are calling this a partnership. It's because it is a partnership. You will be able to grow together, and what we have learned both from our mentors and our proteges is that both sides do learn from this process. We are expecting that you will meet on a regular basis, but again, this is up for you partner to decide. This is actually identified as part of the terms of reference. I can let you know we just had a midpoint connection with the current IAP2 mentorship program. And this ranges. Some people are meeting once a month, some people are meeting twice a month. So this needs to be discussed in your expectations for each of you. From IAP2 Canada's perspective, and this is what my responsibility is and also IAP2 Canada's, we will pairings. You've heard me mention it before. Conference, I'm going to be sending you out a request saying, please name your top 3 mentors or your top 3 proteges. And what I at that point in time is try with either your top choice or your second or your third. We've been very successful in being able to do that, so I certainly hope that this will happen this go around as well. I will support the communication and planning. All of you should have received the information package, which has all of your names and your preferences and who you are and what you do. You all have my email address, so if at any point in time there are concerns, you just need to get in contact, and I will try and help you out to the best of my ability. As mentioned, you will also be having 2 more webinars, one at the midpoint and also one at the end. So I'll bring you together so that you can have these moments to share. And also, I will, over the course of the next several months, be asking you to, send me a few testimonials. What are you learning? What are what's exciting about this? What would you say to others about the program? So this is my opportunity to sort of reach out and let other people know that mentorship actually could be really, it can be a lot of fun, but it also educational. So this is a great opportunity for me to do that as well. So what is the mentor's role? Really, it is to share the knowledge and experience with your partner. All of you who are mentors have also been around IAP2 for quite a long while. And this is your opportunity to talk about what IAP2 is and really living both the core values and the code of ethics. This is quite unique to IAP2, and this is a great learning opportunity. That you participate in the development of the terms of reference, although we're going to ask that the proteges actually lead that process. We are asking that you agree to whatever you determine within the terms of reference as your agreed norms. And of course, I'm here. If you need me, please don't hesitate to contact me at any point. So you keep hearing me talk about the terms of reference, and you will be getting it after today's call once the pairings have been completed. But some of the expectations within that is that the mentor is expected to answer questions. They might be asked but you might act as a role and just basically a guide to the field of P2. We had an opportunity a week and a half ago to talk to mentors and proteges in the current IAP2 program. And one of the things that they said was let your new mentors and proteges know they should be asking lots of questions of each other. Like, what do you truly want to get out of this process? What can I share with you? We had some great examples of mentors and proteges sharing case studies, book reviews, or new academic studies, or they shared their own project and they asked for information back, like, does this work, doesn't it work? They talked about the opportunity to send questions in advance. So a mentor might send a protege questions for send questions. And so that when you come to your conversation, you will have thought about this. But perhaps the most important thing that we heard was just be really honest. What do you want to get out of this process? What do you want to learn? How do you want to the learning? Because it does go both ways. So as you're thinking about this and what you want to do and what you want to get out of it, I wanted to share some of those experiences from others, but certainly hearing about best practices within your practice and others. So what is the role of the protege? The protege's role really is to engage. It's to ask those questions. It's to say, I'd like to get this out of this process. This is what I would truly like to learn. Or I know very little about this, and I really don't know the questions that I need to ask, but I think I should know more. The terms of reference. So once you've been paired, we need you to take the initiative in reaching out to your mentor to start the terms of reference process. And then once you've signed the terms of reference process, then stick to it and make sure that you're able to really follow through on what you've both agreed to. So again, these comes out of some of the terms of reference that we already have, and it's really just making sure, am I going to meet every 2 weeks? Am I going to meet once a month? I know some of you have expressed a real desire in person. So these are the types of things that you should have the conversation about. Really talk about, what kind of feedback do you want to get? What kind of advice do you want to get? And I hope that we'll talk about how do the core values, how do the spectrum, how do the code of ethics, how do they work in my life? Why should they work in my life? Why should I even think about them? What do I need? So these might be some of the things that the proteges will ask of their mentors. And actually a good conversation on the core values in of itself can be an extremely worthwhile meeting. So the pairing process that we've talked about, I've already received all of your information. Thank you very much. I hope that you found the information package helpful. I know I did. I loved reading all of your bios, and I'm your mentor, or I'm your protege if, or I joined. So thank you for being humorous as well, and thank you very much for sharing all of that information. We are in the process right now to kick. So 3 checks, and I always like checks on my do. is the email that I will send out after today's webinar, where I'm asking you to pick your top 3. And what I mean by that is if you're a mentor, if you could pick your top 3 proteges, and if you're a protege, if you could pick your top 3 mentors, that would be very welcomed. We will put those groups together quickly. I'm hoping to do it by the end of this weekend so that you can actually, the beginning of March, you can get together and start with your terms of reference and actually start the engagement process. So this is the opportunity to come back to you. You can ask me any questions that you might want to ask, but you can also start asking questions of others just to see whether or not there are any questions, or you want to tell people a little bit more about who you are, or pick me, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to go through the list. Again, I will have to open up your mic, but if you're chomping at the bit, please just raise your hand, and I'd be pleased to turn the mic over to you so that we can do some of this meet and greet. So Sherry, I'm actually going to start with you, and I'm going to open up your mic. Any concerns, thoughts, ideas, pick me, any of those kinds of things, what you're hoping to get out of this process, all of that.
I'm excited to get going, and I've acted as a mentor for, well, currently I'm acting as a mentor for 2 people in our organization, and I really believe strongly in the value of mentoring and the gift that it brings with that. And I do understand the commitment that needs to be made. It's easy when someone can pop in my office easily to ask for attention, but I also understand that it's really going to be important, especially if we're at a distance, to make that time available. And I just really get excited in seeing the development of a new person. I love being asked questions. I love asking questions. I see that as real interest, and I don't mind how many questions you ask. And to me, I just see that as part of being really involved. And as I'm looking through, I took some notes as people were speaking, and I know we can't say everything that we want to say in this short time. But I do want to let the Calgary people know that I do occasionally go over to Calgary or Edmonton, because our office has cross-Canada locations, or our organization, I should say. And thanks for the information on Belize. I'm going there next on a cruise, so I'll make sure I snorkel. And also I was so that's to Sarah and Carla, so it's a heads up. Hey, I'm very interested. Also the same with Kelsey from Victoria. We also have a Victoria office. I get over there now and then, and the reason why I'm saying that is simply because I think it'd be great to meet in person occasionally. That would be something I would like to do, and hope you might be interested as well. And I also took some notes on Michelle, because it just sounds like we have some cross links in terms of our background and experience. So that's it for me. I know that everyone has to make the choice that feels the best for them, but I do want you to know I'm excited and I'm ready to go. And even after saying these are some that flagged for me as potential picks, I'm happy to be a mentor to anyone in this group that's seeking a mentor who's committed and will really give you the time and energy to help you along. That's it for me.
Thanks so much, Sherry. Okay, well, thanks, and now you can listen to others as well, but thank you so much for that. So Sarah, we're next, and just anything else that you'd like to say or do. And Sarah, you've also muted yourself, so if you can unmute yourself as well, that would be great. Excellent. Sarah, over to you.
I don't have anything much to add other than my bio, just that I am excited to pair with someone that likes looking at things a little bit differently, and there's not a cookie cutter approach to everything. I definitely welcome the opportunity to meet with people in person. I think that would be really beneficial if possible, but I don't think it's really critical. That's about all I can really think of.
That's great. Sarah. And please, if you have any questions at all of IAP2 Canada, or even any other questions of any of the other participants on, don't hesitate to ask that. So Mike, I'm coming to you next. Any thoughts, anything you'd like to say, any encouragement?
Yeah, don't, I guess, as a planner, don't let that limit your perspective on what I do. I've got a really broad background. I'm a mentor at this, for this process, and I mentor a lot of other planners that deal with consultation, deal with participation. And I'm constantly frustrated with planners, with the planners organization overall, or planners in general, who stick to the requirements of the legislation. So I like to go beyond that and find out what can be done and what should be done rather than what has to be done. I'm mentoring several people right now at the in the Planning Institute and thoroughly enjoying that. And I just love hearing new ideas and sharing with people, and trying to answer questions and resolve them. So would love to work with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Gratefully appreciate it. Thank you. So now we're going to come on to Michelle Wagner. Michelle.
Hi, I'm just
Michelle?
listening to what everyone else has to say. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Sorry, thank you.
Sorry. I'm just listening to what everyone else has to say, and I'm just jotting down some notes. And I have to say that I'm quite excited about participating in the program. It's going to be a little bit of a change of pace for me, because in the past I've been the mentor, and I've had proteges that I've worked with in the past, and I've really enjoyed the process as well as the experience, because I was able to transfer information to other people, but I really learned a lot about myself and the things that I value, and really what makes me passionate about my work and the things that that happen in my life. And so I'm really looking forward at this opportunity to take that shift and take the role of the protege and being able to learn. I think for myself, I learn through conversation, and I learn through being able to sit down and have a coffee with a person or a phone conversation with someone and walk through an experience and walk through all the details. So for any of you that have a similar type of experience or learn in the same way, I'm looking forward to that. And whoever it is that I get partnered up with, I'm really looking forward to that partnership.
Thanks so much. So Kelsey, your opportunity. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think like most of the other proteges, I'm happy to have the opportunity to hear from people with quite a bit of experience in the field, and have some feedback on not only project-specific work, but also just kind of career growth and opportunities in that way. So looking at both the kind of small picture as well as the big picture. And I do a lot of work with community organizations as well outside of my work, and so I'm kind of interested in a very broad spectrum of public participation projects. So yeah, I think it'll be a great experience. It looks like there's a great roster of both proteges and mentors.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Kelsey. Carla.
Thanks. Very interesting to learn, to get a taste of where people are coming from and what they're hoping for from this. And maybe what I'll offer a couple things that I didn't put in my bio, because I probably wouldn't have used the right words, or these words might not be appropriate to put down on paper, but I consider myself a little bit of a process junkie. And so I love to think about how best to approach something, and in particular when you're putting people in a room together. That's really where I do most of my work, is with people, groups face-to-face. And so, you know, I'm very happy to share experiences about that and to help somebody else think through possibilities around that, and to look at options. The other part for me is that questions are huge. It's a huge part of our work, and it's a huge part of what I would want to both hear and contribute in the relationship that I'd have in this setting. So, you know, I'm very happy to think about questions ahead of time to offer to a protege, and I'd love to get questions from them ahead of time too. That's great. Love to work that way. I also do a lot of work on the phone, and I've done a lot of coaching on the phone. I'm a certified coach, and I've done a lot of coaching on the phone, so I'm very comfortable with that telephone relationship if that works best for whoever I get lucky enough to get paired with. So I just wanted to offer that perspective. And if it means we can meet face-to-face, that's great too, but the telephone is fine with me. So yeah, maybe I'll stop there. Looking forward to getting started and to getting to know someone, because I do love that kind of one-to-one connection with people.
Thanks so much, Carla. Much appreciated. Now I'm going to open it up to Jan, but I'm just going to say to Joel, Joel, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to ask of anybody or anything that you want to share, I'd be happy to read out your questions, because I know that even though you've been here and you're listening to everyone, we've been unable to hear your voice. Please don't hesitate to send me questions, Joel. Jan, over to you.
Okay, well, not too much more to add, I don't think. I guess just a couple of things. Listening to everybody, I think getting together with any one of you would be wonderful. So I look at it as a great opportunity to exchange ideas and share knowledge and just develop better relationships in terms of our whole community of IAP2 people. I think that I see this as a two-way street, that hopefully I have a variety of experiences that I can share with whoever I end up paired with, but I also see it as an opportunity to learn from that person as well. As I said, relative to the training process that we go through, it's so much of a two-way street. You always build on something that you learn from someone else. You have an opportunity to bounce things off someone else. You have a chance to talk about it. And I love to kind of help people think through things. I like to collaborate in terms of thinking about what might work here and how might we do it better, or what could we do differently. So having the opportunity to collaborate with someone in terms of their process and planning, I think is great. I'm a sole proprietor, so I do a lot of work with colleagues, and it's kind of nice to be able to have somebody that you can talk to and bounce things off and look at things differently. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it would be great working with any of you. I'm comfortable with talking on the phone or face-to-face, depending on where people are, and I agree that face-to-face is always kind of nice to have at least a few chances to get together, but recognizing everybody's time schedules and things, sometimes telephone is the best way to go. So I'm pretty flexible in that way, and really looking forward to the next 9 months.
Thanks so much, Jan. And I suppose I'm thinking I should probably do a pitch for the North American Conferencing that's coming up at the end of September. And so you guys will still be doing your mentorship program when that happens. So maybe that would be another opportunity for a great face-to-face. And there's my pitch. So the next... Unmuted.
Hi. You're breaking up a little bit for me, so if I am for you, please let me know. I wrote down that you're planning to go to the conference, so I am planning to attend the conference. I have lived for a while in Winnipeg, so I'm looking forward to being back in the motherland. As far as being paired up, I see a lot of good options, but that if you're going to write my name down, you should definitely be willing to interact with me as an academic and a hopeful practitioner. It's certainly my goal to work in the field, but I won't have those types of questions, the on-the-ground working questions. I'm looking for kind of advice on papers and doing some more analytical thinking about P2 processes. So please keep that in mind. I'm really happy to be part of this process. When I got the newsletter letting me know that there was this mentorship program, I was looking forward to getting involved, and it's really fun to see this finally on its way with us all on this call, and looking forward to getting to know whoever I'm lucky enough to be partnered with.
Thanks very much, Jessica. I know we're pleased to have you on board as well, so thank you for that. So we're now going to turn to Anne. Anne, any thoughts?
Thanks. So I think I am humbled by the group here, and I think that's always a good place to come from. I've noted in my bio that it took some prodding for me to put my name forward as a mentor, because I consider myself very much a protege as well and early in my career. though I do have some specific areas of experience and expertise that I think I can help with, notably in Aboriginal relations, resource sector, and also in IAP2 as an organization as well. But also, I guess, a couple things to highlight are in terms of the academic piece or academia. I did my master's a couple of years ago as well, looking at different forms of engagement and collaboration with communities, and so I'm keen to learn together and to talk through different scenarios and sort of the practice in general, and I'm very interested in seeing the practice evolve. I often actually say, you know, I don't really do P2 because most of my work on a day-to-day basis is actually about community engagement and building long-term relationships with stakeholders, so that if a decision comes up, we have that relationship so we can do a P2 process. But most of my work is around that relationship building, not around decision making. So I guess I would offer that up as additional information of myself. I'm very much looking to learn together and to explore some of the tough nitty-gritty questions, and also to have a good time. I think my favorite part about IAP2 is the people, and so I'm really looking forward to meeting someone new.
Thanks so much, Anne. Joel has been very diligently sending us information over the chat. So I just wanted to give you a little bit about Joel. Joel works in stakeholder relations, has been mentored by Gay Robinson, and benefited a lot from that experience. So Joel is looking to get involved as much as possible, and really looking forward to being paired with someone like-minded, shares the same interests as me, which it sounds like everyone does, with a very happy smiley face on the end there. And Joel also apologizes to all of them for not being able to actively participate. But one of the things, technology can be your best friend and sometimes not your best friend. So, so thank you, Joel, for sending that in. And I know that Joel says hi to every perspective. So we're just going to, I think we've heard from everybody now. So please, whoop, sorry about that. So is there anything else that anyone wants to either hear from anybody on the call or from IAP2 Canada that I can help you with? I'm not seeing any hands go up, nor am I seeing any questions come in on the questions. So I'm going to make the presumption that we're all good. And I really thank you, all of you, for taking not only to join us on the webinar today, but also to be part of this program, for watching this mentorship program evolve. It's terrific. It's great to meet people, and it's really fabulous to hear all of the experiences that people are having. You will make this what you want it. Really, the emphasis goes out to all of you on today's call, and for those individuals that have been unable to join at the moment. You'll make it spectacular. Just listening to you, I got goose pimples, but I love listening to you and what you have to offer, and the fact that this community gives back to each other. And I think that that's truly wonderful. So the next step for me is you'll be receiving an email asking to pick your 3 mentors. Once we've paired you, you'll then receive the terms of reference. I wish all of you the very it's of you. I know whoever you end up with, you'll have a great experience. But don't hesitate to contact me if there's anything that I can do for you. So with that note, I'm actually going to bring today's meeting to a close. All the very best. Have a fabulous mentorship experience. Take care. Bye-bye now. Okay.
The organizer has ended